Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, and we're going to transition from the metabolic set point grueling phase of dieting into metabolic building. And that has, I think, been one of my biggest contributions to the sport, Adam, is getting people to see that instead of dieting straight down toward a show, trying to time it perfectly, that there really is no such thing as, quote, being ready too early. But that can really be an advantage, because if we can start increasing calories, specifically carbs, leading up to the show, incrementally over time, I'm not talking about carb loading for a day or two, you can start elevating the metabolism in this upward spiral so that you're getting stronger in the gym, better workouts, your muscle tissue is holding more glycogen, you're becoming even less carb and insulin sensitive, so you're resistant to spilling over. You can use more carbs to get fuller during peak week. So this is really, to me, what separates the potential to win for anybody versus just only the elite genetics winning on stage. So how have you incorporated this with your clients overall, Adam?
Yeah, and I'll agree with you. This is paramount getting a client to this point. And not that they won't win if they don't, but I would say 90% of my pro cards have been with having the time from being ready early to building up into the show. So that's always been my approach to trying to get a client ready early. But once they hit that fine-tuning / metabolic building phase, bringing those calories up, I usually increase check-ins quite a bit so we can see that body composition change, because we know if we're storing more glycogen, we're going to see weight shoot up. And, you know, sometimes my girls don't like that as much as my guys do. And it's just something you want to keep an eye on. Let's make sure we're moving up fast enough that we're not putting on body fat, and that we're keeping that crispness into the physique, and also seeing more muscle fullness and just that intramuscular hydration come back. They should be feeling great in the gym. And it's a really almost, I've had many clients after they won their pro card say, I feel guilty how great I felt, 4 weeks out. Like show day just felt like another day to them, just because they had spent so many weeks increasing intake. It just didn't seem like a big deal to them.
Yeah, I'll show you briefly how well this can work and what it can mean in those slim margins of winning. I had a pro female bodybuilding client who came to me for the first time. She'd never placed, any higher than maybe fourth or so at Worlds. And because we left enough time, she had about 4 or 6 weeks when we could start elevating her food a little bit at a time, we went from dieting at a low point of about 100 to 125 grams of carbs all the way up to 300 to 350 during peak week, very incrementally over those last 4 to 6 weeks. If we were still dieting hard, we could never do that. Fat intake, just to spare carbs, we ended up moving fat from 30, 35 grams up to 50, 55 grams, even added a meal of protein. And she just decimated the competition. She was just so full and so tight. And then the next year, we got a little bit behind in the core phase, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, started having to push a little bit more. We just were not getting the same result. Another illustration of how the same body, the same person every year doesn't respond. We were not able to get into that full metabolic building phase to repeat the second year. And she lost a very close margin by a vote or two in the overall. And it was simply because we were not ready early enough to really employ that greatest level of metabolic building.
Mm-hmm. It definitely shows up on the conditioning as well. You just get glycogen more deeply seated into the muscle tissue. It's just a much different effect.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things, Adam, I know because you deal with bikini competitors and they're not maybe needing that quite as much, but even just leading that direction, I'm sure you see that it does allow you to err on the side of coaching for more conditioning or fullness for your lightly muscled women.
Yes, absolutely. And nowadays, they're really going for a look that's a little more muscular in bikini over the years. So I've actually, it's really been a staple for me to be able to do that with my females, especially before a national show where pro cards are on the line. Those girls come in pretty hard conditioned and pretty full muscular level as well.
Yeah, so in the next episode, guys, we're going to talk about the final phase of dieting, the fine-tuning phase, which is exactly what Adam's describing, giving yourself the opportunity to make changes specific to your need for your division. So hang with us a couple more episodes here as we get through this entire new series on your contest dieting methodology and approach.